All right, hello and welcome to feedback for DE Bay 06. This is the version that we playtested yesterday on April 25th, that is. This is a map by Rolled and Cat Food, and it's going to be apparently some sort of an old factory turned into an aquarium, which is a really cool setting to cross over those two themes, and it definitely plays really uniquely and really an interesting map. We played 3 games on the map, and I'll be uploading those soon today as well. So if you want to see how those went, then check those videos. But yeah, we gave some feedback after the playtest and during the playtest, but I guess it's good to also like dig a little bit deeper with the feedback and go a little bit more extensive. I'm gonna reiterate some of the issues that were stated and certainly found out during the gameplay. Start with the A bomb site here, as we are already over this area. So this area definitely played kind of uniquely. T's get this side for free, and this is kind of the initial peak that you have to do. The CTs can push or kind of like wide swing over here to have a little bit better and exposed angles. And there were a couple of plays where CT snipers would post up like this over here to get kind of a wide peak. But this was generally considered to be the default position to play up here on this this heaven part here. The issue, or rather a couple of issues that raised up, is the thickness of this railing. Obviously, this is not going to be in the detailed version, nor is it probably going to be in the next playtesting version. But in this version, if you're hugging the back wall here, or the back railing, there were many situations where the railing just got in the way, and it's the thickness that it can conceal it can completely conceal a player who's in the lower part. So that's something to fix for the next version for sure. Also, the angles. I'm one that like, I'm not that critical of like headshot angles. But here in this situation, since the shape of the rock it's very natural, it's very round, the head of a player can look like an extension of the rock. So you might not recognize it that well. It might be a fix to actually like already texture this version, or like this rock with some like super white calcite stone or something, so it has a great contrast to it. In that way, I don't think it's that it would be that big of a deal to then have these natural shapes. Also, it's kind of hard to, as a player, to tell, since the this props has kind of a rough collision. I mean, the collision is perfect, but it's not clipped in any way. So there are a couple of spots, for example, like on this side, you can get stuck. On that thing, you can slide down. Just generally, this is not that good for navigating over it. You can manage it kind of easily, but there are moments that you can get snagged on it. And I think for the elevation you get from standing on top of this rock, it's very valuable to actually cover the heaven from the teammate side of things. Also, this is good for throwing mollies, throwing smokes, throwing flashes into the A hut short area, and it's very valuable player space for T's to take. But yeah, the rock is very I mean, it's rather, yeah, it's very random in most situations, and yeah, doesn't play that. I mean, classically, like, it's just a huge container here. that's like the way to fix it. But you know, let's get creative and use some other substances other than just like metal containers. And I really like the rock idea. It feels very natural. Yeah, the same issue is here with the cliffside. One thing that people pointed out is that, let me turn up my god mode, is that they didn't know that you get killed if you touch the water. To me, that's kind of obvious. That's kind of like a, you know, there has to be bounds to the level. What do people think that you can just like play an AWP here. Well, I mean, I guess from level design standpoint, it's kind of easy to recognize those sorts of things. But yeah, I guess like some warning signs or like a little buoy or something on the other side, just to, or maybe even like clip it off aggressively for playtesting, and then later on, you know, not to get too caught in detailing already. But yeah, maybe clipping it off would be the right way to go here. The main approach, the stairs could be just a teeny tiny little bit wider. I felt that there wasn't that much space, or like the space, excuse me, the angle to peek onto the bomb site was a little bit too tight, and there's not enough variation in between the peeking angle from here once you're trying to fight like these. What I'm trying to say is that this guy has to pretty much like fight all of these angles, since it opens up very tightly. You can't have that like wide angles from the back, and CT players are anyway going to be playing on the top. I guess the shape and the roughness of the cliffside kind of made it awkward to play and fight against these, because like at any point you could get caught by the stones, or you know, just couldn't move forward. So people definitely preferred to play on the stairs, and that just choked up the area here quite a lot. And when a smoke popped here, not many people actually like realized that you can go down like out here. If it was more pronounced, like actual brushwork slapped onto this one, onto the rocks, maybe that way you could get a little bit more play out of this area. But yeah, I think it's a little bit like psychological thing, plus it being a little bit too janky for it right now. But yeah, I dig the style. The heaven, there's so much of heaven here that is kind of annoying to deal with, especially with like these headshot angles. Yeah, I know we went over it a little already in the game, but maybe making this super wall bangable, that might help it. It is kind of a thing, even though then with like, you know, even though it is wall bangable, it's just a matter of actually spotting the player. It's like he could be here, then he vanishes. He could peek from here. There's too much of wall banging even then to do. So maybe like reducing the railing. I know it's like it's covering the entrance perfectly, but there has to be a more elegant way to do this. I think it's, you know, bomb sites are the most important parts of the map to make feel good to play. Like you can have some jank in the middle of the map or whatever, but the bomb sites just need to feel good and need to feel fair for both teams to contest and retake and fucking take and whatever. I just don't think that this headshot. Also, this is super annoying to play against as like a retaking player, or rather, if there's a situation where the bomb is planted and there's a T, for God forbid, holding this upper area, it's super annoying to deal with them, since they can on it obviously like headshot, peek, and, like jiggle around. But yeah, I guess making it more open and just trying to like maybe make this entrance a little bit lower, so that, you know, this is lower, stairs going up to the balcony, so you wouldn't need to have the railing up there. So the whole thing would be a little bit elevated, but then again you would have to change the elevation of this room, but it's not really tied to anything, so you can do that very easily. And we are in a gray boxing stage, so making changes is easy. But yeah, that could help with the headshot angles. And again, it doesn't have to be maybe this high of a wall. Yeah, maybe make the couple of the wall banging boxes like orange or something, and then the boxes that you can't wall bang like white or something. For example, can you wall bang this box? You can wall bang this box and this box. God damn, you can wall bang every box. Am I dumb, like only now finding this out? Oh god. Oh god, okay. So all the textured wooden boxes are wall bangable. Never mind. I thought that it was like because here the textures are misaligned, and I only realized that this is wall bangable like after the games. But now I'm realizing that the texture is fitted onto this face, and the texture out here continues. So every wooden box is wall bangable. Hell, this is what I'm thinking right now. Okay, never mind. A bomb site is very wall bangable. I thought of retaking. This is just coming from a player who retook the bomb site as a CT like once or twice. Yeah, the crates and the cover is kind of perfectly actually placed. Like here we can see that you can divide the CT main entrance to like 2, with the bomb site being like over here, this box. You don't have to peek this, but you can as a retaker. Cubby is very exposed to CT, so the real only Cubby player position is here. You have a nice like little indent here that you can retake, so that's nice. So the real after plant positions is are to play like outside here, outside in the water area with the rock, maybe in the Cubby, and hot. Short is very important to control if you don't want to play on the bomb site. I do want to see, this is just a personal preference, I do want to see more bomb sites where you actually play on the bomb site. Like many bomb site designs are kind of made in the way that you're playing outside the bomb site, and you want to, even as a T, like you want to plant the bomb and then get the fuck out of there to hold like a long contestable angle behind a corner or something, and then, you know, not even fucking contest the CTs when they're retaking, it's just molly the bomb. Yeah, I definitely want to see more bomb sites where you play on the bomb site in and of itself, just to like focus on the bomb site cover. There was some congestion, whatever, on the height of the boxes. I think they're fine. The real thing is that you can actually completely hide behind every box, and especially in a hut like this corner, it's super deep. It's wall bangable though. I like that. I like that. Yeah, I don't really have any feedback for the short. I think it played really well, and I do appreciate these sorts of long angles. Like you can hold an angle like all the way. I mean, that's not necessarily that long of an angle, but this long angle especially, I think these sorts of things make it super CT-sided. Even though like CTs don't have to aggressively contest this, but if they're just holding a long angle like this, long defensive angle, you know, they get first the information, and then the time it takes for the T to get from there to here in order for them to push and actually use the control. Then, like, I appreciate that sort of design. That's good. And there's, you know, I think the time for the CT player to actually, you know, take a shot, they can make it behind another angle, take another shot. You know, there's just buying time for their teammates, so that's good, and I enjoy that. But yeah, we get back to the bomb site. This also, like, this plywood here, there's too much of it, I think. I am fine with headshot angles when they are predictable and they are fair. I don't think that these sorts, like here, I'm trying to find like all the different headshot angles that I can abuse. Like on the rocks, these aren't predictable, and this is too much of a headshot angle. So the whole fight just becomes like kind of an annoying, like who gets the better headshot angle against the headshot angle, and you kind of have to have a sniper here. But that's nothing going against the bomb site and the design per se. But yeah, maybe making this whole platform a little bit smaller, like so it doesn't need to be this wide. I think like here you don't have any of the headshot angle situation going on because there's so little space, and maybe this back area could be pushed up a little bit so it's not as wide. But maybe keep this width for this, so like having only this much, and the only position that where you would be completely covered is like back here on the stairs, and then once you come up to the platform, you are already exposed to the rocks, the short. I guess there could be like some cover on the position so you can actually hold it. But yeah, that would be my solution, so you don't have to deal with the annoying headshot angles. The CT rotations were fine. This area actually, this played exactly how I thought it would. And the design does work. It does do its job. In this room, you could probably remove like this angle or this corner just to make taking, like going from here, from this room, getting to here would be a little bit better, because like you can hold behind this. You can have an angle actually from all the way back here. Whoop. To like contest this. So just to get from retaking from CT upper to actual retake position, you have to take kind of a hard room before the bomb site. And you know, retaking the bomb site, it's kind of hard in and of itself. So to actually get to the action faster, I would make this a little bit easier to retake. Maybe tilt this a little bit, so this player pushing up to this could have a little bit better cover. So right now it's like directed 90 degrees. Maybe make it a little bit like that, so the player actually holding like behind here has more cover from there and has better angles, like, you know, contest there. I mean, I just kind of screwed up that demonstration, but yeah, the cover would be more angled towards towards fighting this entrance and this entrance. Right now it's like just in the middle, and the angle is just like, it's straight. But yeah, also angling that a little bit. Actually, maybe angling it other way around would be beneficial. Also this headshot angle here. There's no way that you're gonna spot the player. Pop, pop, pop. The CT skins with the green head might actually be a completely broken thing. Anyway, let's get to the middle. I appreciate this design. It's cool. It's fresh that there is like, you know, the T's can go CT from here, but this is actually super deadly to peek as a T, because I mean, rarely the CT player is here, but if the CTs are playing like very carefully, they peek and take like risky shots, like only a couple times. Like they peek this twice, they try to stay alive, then this guy falls back, and then the B connector player pushes up so that these guys can communicate with each other, and then the A short guy can play kind of aggressive, smoke them off here. So the T's are only left with like balcony positioning, and then, you know, trying to do something with this space. But yeah, the passive angles, the fact that you can like retreat from here to holding this, and yeah, there's just so much to do on CT, so that's really awesome. And then, yeah, not to even mention this whole thing, which is like the hardest thing to counter, is definitely keep this like that. I would like for there to be some sort of a way to like maybe make this super wall bangable, in order for like, if the T's want to clear this upper area here, they don't have to like with 4 people peek every single corner. Maybe make that wall bangable, so that you can actually clear the upper area there. And maybe make it less wide, so that the wall banging positions are a little bit more predictable. And maybe like a funny grenade. I want to see someone get a kill like this, just throwing a great grenade in the air, and it's like it blowing up in the in the middle of this window, and then it like blows up or whatever. There was some huge crazy wallbang somewhere. I got, there was a round in one of the games. I think I was like in here or something, and I got wallbanged from, gee, I can't even remember. That's not going through. Anyway, I'm not gonna waste any more time trying to shoot wallbangs. Yeah, we talked about extensively in the playtests about the window thing. So yeah, it's a thing. People have the clear decals bind. You can't really. This is just a level design map making thing. You can't really expect for your players to do something external. To like have some sort of a jump throw bind for for a thing that is like 100% thing to smoke. Like imagine, or like imagine that it's an intended mechanic that you have to clear the decals or like the blood spots in a map in order to play it. Like it's going too far. Not every player is going to enjoy it based on that, because like it's just asking the player a little bit too much to actually like just play the level. So all right, yeah, I didn't see that. Nice. So yeah, the window is getting a little bit too disgusting most of the time. I am of the idea of actually removing it and having like an exposed terrarium. Maybe having a little bit more like negative space in the middle as well, so that players can't. I do like that you can't really nade the other side, but the ceiling is so low here. I mean, it's high, it's low enough that you can actually throw nades like this, which is super. Goddamn, it's super awesome that you can actually do this. Nade that area there. There was one round where I thought that it was exposed. I tried to throw a smoke in there, but just landed over here because I didn't realize that it has a ceiling. But yeah, the angles we went over here, that the CT player or any player in that case can see very far there, and I think as a, like, for example, this position as a T pushing up to retake, I mean to take the bomb site, there were many moments. I mean, this gets smoked off almost every round, and just as a T holding this, you shouldn't be exposed to the window back there. That's just a default position that the T should be getting and should be holding. Like that, the T should be rewarded this much control. I think where the purple line or the purple light starts is the good indication where the sideline from the window should stop. Like they should only see the blue, and I think everything lit up with the blue is it's like very well lit up and very clear and easily visible. Also, trying out a different glass texture might help quite a lot with the visibility. Yeah, maybe trying to actually disable the I don't even know. I was like disabling the collisions of the glass, but then again, like making it so that it's like clipped and you can't throw grenades through it. I don't know, like maybe. I mean, I guess that's going a little bit too far. Yeah. Okay, B bomb side. This headshot angle was very. I mean, it's fine once you know it, but there's just a little bit too much above it. Like, you have a player here. You have a player here. It's a little bit too much to clear as a T, just like whiffing past here. And the player could be here. It's like, you know, how many player heads can you fit here? That's the amount of positions that you have. On B-bomb side, you don't really have the headshot angle situation. I would do something about these. These two, also they have collision. So here would be the perfect angle to play as a CT, but it's blocked by those. So that might be a way to nerf that position, but then again, it's not a good way to nerf it because it's like just fucking annoying. And also you can get a couple of like melee angles. But yeah, just the positioning of these is unfortunate. I like that the bomb site doesn't have any safe plant per se. You're always exposed to like the B stair back here. And I do like that the gaps are like very smokable. They're smaller than a smoke grenade would cover up the space. It is very wall bangable though as well. I would make this a little bit not as wide, just to have another, like, you know, extend this pillar just like that. I think it was really cool. Like, we saw a couple rounds where I mean, at least I saw a round where CT was playing, like, you know, he was playing on top of this, and there was another on the other side. There was a T player like jumped up on that, so that was kind of cool. That both sides can use it, but I think it's just a little bit too much. And the same thing here. Once players start to boost over it, you know, just how many player heads can it fit? on the edge of this. So that's the amount of headshot angles that you can have behind there. That's not that big of an issue, since it is very wall bangable. But yeah, same headshot angle issue here. The timings. Okay, so now here we get to my initial thoughts of playing this map for the first time, and then after 3 games. I thought that this area would play super uniquely if it was more like Banana on Inferno, as CTs would have to, like, you know, completely deny the access to this part of the map, and then, you know, mid support to help them with that. But then, I mean, if it had faster T timings, and I mean, both timings would have to be faster then in that case. I don't know how that would actually work out. Anyway, faster CT timing so that they could, like, push up further. I thought that would be super cool, but then again, I saw how CTs playing passive is also kind of cool, and how the dynamic of this window plays with the whole B main. So now I'm of the opinion that it plays very uniquely right now. Nerfing this, making the angles smaller, so you can't see the purple, would actually fix quite a lot of the issues here. So I think that this area plays super unique and super well already. I love that there's like a subtle height variation in here, so that you can wide swing with your bro peeking here. It's so cool. And what I tended to do here, what is this? Cool. What I tended to do here is to actually smoke off this, and then have a smoke on the bomb side, so that you can just get the outside of main position. And here, behind the smoke, you can actually get to here and jump spotting stuff. And again, jump spotting from here is super valuable. So just with these 2 smokes, or even with this, you can deny like a great after like a CT position, like a retreated angle from here, going to here, retreating back. It's going to the pillar here. So, you know, taking one of those away. I didn't feel that playing back from here was that good for CT. It has to do, I think, with how this is angled. If this was angled in this way, now we're talking about a complete other angle. And that might be something that you actually want to do, to have, like, no CTs were actually playing, like, over here. It's kind of awkward. It's just, it is just too awkward to play over here, since retreating back, you have to, it's slow to retreat back from there. If this was, like, indented in this way, so that it would be like just a plop, and then it would go back like a skinny wall, then I guess people would play here, because they could get very deep very fast, faster than that. But yeah, this wasn't a very strong CT position, but this was, and this was, and this was. I guess here also the CT peaking wasn't that favored, since this is the same sort of an angle against like that as this angle is towards there. But this is better against that, since the angle is almost 45, or I guess over than. This copy wasn't played that much, and I think the distances from the B connector, there's just not enough space for this connector player to actually wide swing and get the peaks onto the dark. And I think that this peeking corner, like this is too deep, so maybe have like just half of the size of the gray here, so that it's like super one and done, and it gets peaked every time. And I don't think the dark angles should peek into the main. I think this is too overpowered. Not too overpowered, but too powerful, rather. General consensus of the players was that, like, no single spot was highlighted as like this is super overpowered, which is that's what you want to do, or rather that's what you want to find out, if there is any of those spots in your map, so that you can actually balance it from that standpoint. You can wallbang that. I was just wondering. This is no draw from this side. Yeah, the blue position here, it wasn't that fun to play, since there's like nothing, and there's only really this to peek to the bomb site. But then this is kind of hard to push. So I think this is the most... It's also like the coolest part of the map, but at the same time kind of awkward. So after all the hassle in the middle, you get to here, which is kind of easy to take. And then you get to here, which is really hard to push. So I get the contrast of like giving the control over this space. It's very easy to maneuver through, but it's hard to push forward from, which creates, after like the mid control then means that it's easy to rotate between like this line after you get it, which is okay. I guess it's just that players didn't really enjoy this dynamic. It's fine from my point of view. Okay, middle. I guess making it more clear that I don't really know how in like gameplay terms or in like player cognitive terms you would make this to be more obvious that this is easy to control area and this is hard to push. Because this is as easy as you could make it. Yeah, just more playtesting, and if people really have issue with it, then yeah. The whale or shark, whale, fish was super cool. There was one round that I got to use it actually on CT, and then I just got absolutely fucked. I made it here and I tried to fight both of these fights, and what I should have done is just to only pick my fight with the upper fight, but I also got deleted from the heaven. Like the upper just picked me and like pop with a deagle into the head. I think it was Yoninho who killed me from there. The movement abilities, or the possibilities of movement that this fish gives, are super cool. I appreciate it. And also the utility usage. You can also boost up here to get an angle to the A, which it's not very clear from visibility side of things. Maybe moving these bushes to be in the corner so they don't obstruct that. Even though it's super rare, I don't think we had any boosts like this in the game. It has to do with how contested the middle is in general, and they have to plan to sacrifice 2 players, or to risk 2 players getting caught off behind a fucking Molotov and a smoke in a bomb planting situation. Is crazy. But yeah. Middle, I don't really think there's too much to cover in middle. It plays like a middle does. The T entrance, okay, but here's a kind of a big take. The T routing to middle makes it very unattractive to take as a T. The T upper is very attractive, but that will, more often than not, it will get mollied out. I think it got mollied out on the second or the third game. There was a certain middle player who kept mollying this out and smoking the lower. I think the CTs found out like a very good way to take the mid. And there's just nothing that the Ts can do. I think it also has to do with the sight line, or the line of sight rather, where the Ts are contesting the CTs. Even though there's like 2 angles that the Ts can peek, it's at the end of the day you're peeking from the same direction. Maybe it would help to angle this lower entrance a little bit, so it would be like this, so that this angle would be more against the short, and only this, like this side line, and then this side would be only against like this and this and this. Also maybe making just a tiny bit wider. Maybe that would help. In Mirage, let's take mid for example there. You have the top mid entrance, but you also have lower, which is a completely new angle. It comes from underneath the CT window. So let's imagine we have a middle entrance from... from here. as a T. Now, based on the information that we have. Don't do this, by the way. Like, I mean, you're probably not gonna. Anyway, for an example, have the a second mid entrance after like a connector. You have here. Now you have, and then remove like the T main. You have T upper, and you have this, which is a completely new angle. That on the first peak you have to watch this, but after some time you have to move to watch that. So maybe I could actually have the T lower here and the T upper on that side, or the T upper actually to let's split it like that. T upper this side, T lower this side. That way you can have double CT take or double CT setup, or actually just have this connector watch the heaven and this side watch the main or watch the lower. Yeah, I think that's so. Just so also like this player would have to do a little bit more movement than just like be on the same axis. They would have to like, you know, do that and throw the molly here and then watch the lower or watch the upper. It took us a little bit or a little while to get to that conclusion, but yeah, just changing up the lanes of fire a little bit so you can differentiate as a CT would make the fights feel a little bit more natural, I feel like. Also right now you can't really choose your fight. Kind of, but it's really tight. Also maybe like just moving the lower like by 128 units or like 96 units that way would help already, since the angle between this and this is like much greater than like what, 48 units. But yeah, okay, I think we have covered the whole thing, whole map. And yeah, it was a little bit like having a private conversation with some people after the playtest. I noticed that the layout is like that there's tons of T. Like, take a look at the map. It's very skinny. It's kind of small, but it's very long, which is very unique. It looks like a gold nugget in Minecraft or whatever, like a chicken nugget. Anyway, it's a gold nugget of a map. I'm just gonna have to say that. And I enjoyed my time in the playtests. I look forward to playtesting it again. This has been DE Bay. And take care. Thanks for watching.